Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to My Curvy Life with none other than your host, Miss Fonda, and also co-host, Miss Latanya and Lasagna Jones. We bring you greetings. We thank you for being a part of this entity. We thank you for your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we are here today. We have, of course, a special guest. I'm so excited. I'm always excited about my guests. I want to thank you all who partook in the feed for the homeless. I appreciate all of your support, all of your donations, all of your prayers, all of your support. I just thank you, thank you, thank you. It's always a success when we're able to do something to help those that are less fortunate. I will be making an announcement on the next feed. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything for the winter because I did one last winter and I'm telling you it was cold, y'all. Y'all already know how I get in November here in the O. So yes, it was cold. So I am going to be doing some other things with the senior citizens living facility for the Christmas holidays. I know that sounds a little early, but hey, it's just around the corner, trust. And so I'll be informing you all of that. Also, thank you for 700 members strong, y'all. I'm trying to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. We could do it if we pull together. This is a community, and this is the more the merrier. All right, please share with your family and friends. This is a wonderful, positive entity. Good vibes here, and I definitely want to keep it that way. um, I do want to let you know Mary Kay Cosmetics, y'all. Don't sleep on her. She is always available. I am a skin coach, a consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I have been using Mary Kay since I was 19. I do feel like my skin is ultimately flawless, as it can be, because Mary Kay promises that her products does offer healthier and younger looking skin. And I believe that to be true. I know that to be true because I am a user of the skincare regimen. It's never too late to start. It's never too early. All right. We have accommodations for everybody's type skin. Okay. So holler at me, catch me if you can. I know you can because I'm on the entities out here in social media, and I will be happy to set up either an individual consultation with you where it could be just me and you, or if you want to have a party, come on with it. It will be an additive to your party. I do offer guest prizes. We play little games, and we have a wonderful time doing our skincare cleansing regimen. Now, don't sleep on it. Mary Kay also has cosmetics. All right. So if you're into makeup, lipsticks, lip glosses, foundation, hey, I love the foundation personally. That's one of my favorites. You are more than welcome to contact me with that. If you want to do a makeup tutorial, we can do that. See what fits your skin. We have all kinds of products, body care as well. So Mary Kay has you covered, and I'm your girl. So reach out to me. My team is Beauty First. If you decide, hey, I want to do this, I would like to be a consultant, meet new people, experience the products, or just have your own personal store, you're more than welcome to set up with me and join my team, which is Beauty First. Okay. So I am excited. Let's not keep our guests waiting. I am going to read her bio. I've had the pleasure of meeting her. She works at, we work at the same place at OPPD. She is jumping in leaps and bounds, and looking at this bio is so much, y'all. I just can't put it all in there, but hopefully she will be able to answer some of those questions, or we can elaborate more on her complete bio. But I'm going to take some snippets of her bio, and let me introduce you to Miss CJ Jackson. All right. Her first name is Chequetta Jackson. Chequetta Jackson. But she goes by CJ, and I like that. Keep it nice and simple. So CJ, she holds a bachelor's degree in communications and a master's project management, complemented by multiple leadership and professional certificates. Okay. Currently, she is pursuing her doctorate. I'm sorry, I'm reading off another device. She is pursuing her doctorate degree in leadership coaching. She is uniquely positioned as a thought leader, capable of shaping and the future of leadership which within communities, and organizations. Her commitment to continuous learning and research ensures, sorry y'all, that her leadership development initiatives are grounded in established principles and remain at the forefront of emerging trends, fostering a new generation of adaptable and visionary leaders. I apologize, y'all. I'm reading off another device. In addition to her professional achievement, CJ founded the Phenomenal Women Academy. It's an organization dedicated to empowering and advancing women and girls. The Academy mission is to help women and girls reach their full potential through leadership, confidence building, and personal growth. By equipping them with the tools and mindset to thrive in all areas of their lives. The Phenomenal Women Academy fosters change agents for a brighter and more equitable future. CJ's professional motto is empowering growth and inspiring excellence. I fumbled through that. Please forgive me. I need to get me one of those lights that, shines bright, because for some reason everything seems so dark over here. But CJ, she sounds like she has her stuff all together, y'all, and she's about to tell you all about it. And I'm excited. And we're going to go ahead and let her end the show. One moment.
Hey, Mama.
Hey, CJ, welcome to my live.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Girl, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I need to get a better lighting here because the sister's getting older and up in age, and I'm like, everything look dark. So forgive me, but girl, I'm so excited. I said, whatever I messed up, she can correct it.
It's all good. It's all good. I know that was a mouthful. Just trying to keep it all together.
It was, girl. I said, Lord Jesus, woo-wee. But no, it's one. It's wonderful, and I'm so excited to have you on the show. I love when I can have someone on the show that has created organizations, that has been out here, working and trying to strive to make things better. I love it. I love it. So I welcome you. I sincerely welcome you, and I thank you for taking the time out to come on the show. So let's start with you. Okay. This bio is absolutely amazing, but what do you like to do for fun? What is it that makes CJ, go?
Man, what do I like to do for fun? I don't know that I have a ton of time for fun things, but I love to travel. And I like to travel solo. And there's just something very liberating. I took my first solo trip. I said it like I've been doing it forever, but I haven't. But I took my first solo trip last year, and I've taken a couple since then, and it was just so freeing. I love to travel with friends and family, don't get me wrong, but there's something about traveling by yourself because you're not playing a role. You're not playing mom, you're not playing friend, you're not playing, daughter, sister. And you just get an opportunity to really sit and reflect and enjoy the things that you like to enjoy without having to coordinate schedules and, all that stuff, and kind of discover things about yourself. So I love to travel. I love to read, and I love sports. I'm a sports girl. Like,
oh wow, okay.
Listen, football season, track season, volleyball season, gymnastics. I just love watching sports. I love athletes. Because I understand, I have a background in sports, and I understand the work and the reward. So yeah, I'm a huge sports fan.
Well, thank you, honey, for sharing that with us. I just wanted to kind of break the ice and just learn a little bit more about CJ before we
Mhm.
dive in.
Yeah.
Now, thank you so much.
Mhm.
So, I'm going off of your bio here, and the first
Yep.
question I want to ask you. So it seems like you are really into education. You are at the level of getting your doctorate.
Yep. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you.
Congratulations on that. I know that it's not easy. I have not succeeded in that area, but I heard that the doctorate could be quite challenging. So,
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, I want to jump in and start with your organization, and it is the Phenomenal Women Academy.
Yeah,
That sounds so interesting. I want to talk about that because that's something that you created, correct?
that is correct.
So let's start with that. What brought that vision for to create this academy, and tell us a little bit, what does this academy mean?
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to even talk about the Phenomenal Woman Academy. It's very personal. I've been in my working career for about 19 years now, and I've had an extensive career in technology, more specifically as a leader in technology. And one of the things that I experienced, this is twofold why I created the academy. The first one is
Okay.
from a professional, and then one is from a personal. Professionally, I had attended so many conferences throughout my career around leadership, how to be strategic, how to be an effective communicator, how to build high performing teams. Everything was centered around the organization and what you could do for the organization as a leader. What I came to find out as I went on this journey of personal development is that we were missing a key piece. And while I was attending these leadership conferences, they were good. Don't get me wrong, a lot of good information.
Right.
But I always walked away feeling like something's not quite hitting the mark. Like we're missing something, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it until a little bit later. But what I did realize is that we were trying to separate the whole personal and professional self from each other. And however we are developed personally shows up through our leadership. So if you are
Mm.
underdeveloped personally, then that is going to show through your leadership. And that's how you have leaders who are not as effective as they could potentially be, and how they
Mm.
communicate, how they relate to people, your ability to display empathy and have emotional intelligence. That really isn't professional development. That's really personal development. So if you think about how we're trying to teach our kids how to be more inclusive and how to have empathy and to have, all these other things, they're not
Yeah.
professionals. That's not professional development. That is personal development. And so if you're always
Mm.
talking about how to be a leader from the organizational standpoint, but you never really tackle those personal development things, you're not really a whole leader. And that's
Mm.
what I think, you know. And
Makes
so
sense.
it was really important for me to come up with a way to help women specifically be whole leaders. And so we have to tackle the personal side. And the part that feeds into the personal really comes from my own lived experience with struggling with self-worth, self-esteem, and confidence issues my whole entire life. And that really stems from how I was raised. And I've told this story before. So I'm a very open book. I was raised in dysfunction. I was raised, watching my mother be abused most of my life.
Mm.
I was raised understanding that there were people in my family who had, drug abuse problems, alcohol abuse problems.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
every family has their dark secrets. You have
Yeah.
molestation, everything else going on. So I grew up not having a lot of self worth or self esteem and confidence. And it wasn't until I was about 15 when I met a lady by the name of Crystal Simpson, who became my mentor. And simultaneously, I entered into Burke High School and met my high school coach, who became my track coach. And between the two of them, they started shaping confidence through the avenue of sports, which was track and field. But it still didn't tackle my self-esteem issue. So I had confidence in my athleticism, but I didn't have a lot of confidence in any other skill. Or my
Right.
self-esteem was still suffering, or my self-worth was still suffering. And so I had to go through I want to call it a decade-long journey of discovering who I was. And so the Phenomenal Woman Academy is really built around those three pillars. I call them the triplet theory, and that is really self-esteem, self-worth, and confidence. And I always say, if you want to be confident, the first thing you have to do is you have to know, you have to understand, and you have to trust. But the thing is what, right? It's not enough to just know something. It's not enough to understand something. It's not even worth it if you don't trust it, right? So you have to know it, you have to understand it, and you have to trust. And you have to trust in your gifts, your talents, your skills, and your abilities. And that's really what confidence is. So as long as you can master something and you are comfortable with it, that's when your confidence starts to rise. And so when I'm working with women and girls specifically, we work on mastery, because that's really all confidence is. The more comfortable you do, the more you do something, the more comfortable you are with it, the more confidence you have in it. And so it seems simple when you say it, but a lot of people struggle with it. But that's really why I created the Phenomenal Woman Academy, to meet a need from a conference perspective and a professional perspective, but also meet a need from a personal perspective, and bring them together and give a safe space for women to voice their stories, and also have an opportunity to be developed without having to pay, $2,000 a pop just to go get some professional development.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm going to piggyback on several things that you said, because through my brand Curve, I actually promote self-confidence, self-motivation, and self-care. Okay. I do agree with what you were saying about sometimes how we grow up, and we bring that into our adulthood. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, depending on what we had to go through, as, a young person, and seeing a lot, being involved in a lot. And I always say, a lot of times, I remember my mother and father saying, whatever happens in this house stays in this house, and don't you tell nobody what's going on. And you find yourself, getting built up and clogged up with a lot of things that you can't really talk about. And so those things can affect you in your adulthood. Self-esteem, definitely. You know what I mean? Motivation, when you're coming up in a troubled home, you don't have very much motivation. You know what I mean? So I love it. And I'm on the page with you with that. And I'm trying to do just the same exact thing, as motivate people, push them into, hey, you can do this. People have lots of gifts and talents, but
absolutely.
A lot of times we procrastinate, or we allow others to affect what we do because we don't know what others are going to think about it. You have to kind of, like you said, personal, build your interpersonal self as well. So that is amazing. I love it. So in this organization that you have, is there a fee for your services, or do you offer, for the young girls, do you offer, any free information or classes or?
Yeah, so I've created a couple of, let me backtrack. I tend to partner with a couple of different organizations inside of our community who work directly with girls. One of them is Girls Inc., which we know does, a lot of work in the community with young ladies. And so I've done 6-week trainings for them multiple times for their middle school group and their high school group. And the only thing really is payment for materials, but I'll come in and do a 6-week training with those young ladies, and then offer any services, any follow-up for free for those young ladies. I don't believe in charging. When you're working with young kids, I believe that if you really are doing it for the right reasons, you're going to do it, and you're going to make that type of service free, because our young people are going through things that we didn't really have to carry and experience, or they're going through what we went through times 10, the exponential of 10. And so I feel like, as resources in the community who can give them knowledge, skills, support, it's more of an accountability and a responsibility than it is, let me charge you a fee. I mean, the only thing we're trying to cover is just the cost of material, and there's different ways that we can do that, right? But really it's about showing up for those young ladies. As far as other things that we do in the community, we do offer different workshops throughout the year. And those there's a cost to that, but the cost is very minimum.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of, have I ever charged anyone over $100 for any workshop? And we're talking about either a multi-day workshop or multi-week workshop, not just a
Okay.
one-day workshop. So it's a variety of topics that we've covered. Whether it's talking about, we did a workshop on picking up the broken pieces. A lot of us have pieces that have broken off of us throughout our lives, and we've left them there, but we got to go back and pick them up so that we can make ourselves whole again. I've done some leadership workshops, some things around emotional intelligence, some things around career building and pathing. And so it just really depends on what we're offering at the time. But the cost is very minimal. It's very doable. Keep it very, very budget friendly. But then we also have the annual conference that we do every fall, the Phenomenal Woman Conference every fall. And so that's the other piece of it. But it's really about providing service at the end of the day to our community in a way where it's affordable and we're giving people access. I think that's one of the biggest things that we can do for our community. If we look at, I'm going to call it the BIPOC community, is we need access to stuff so that we can grow the tools and resources that we need to make, whether it's better decisions or figuring out where we want to go and we want to do with our lives, or how to mentor and how to network and build those connections. We need access.
Wow. I absolutely love it. Now, you said that you offer, there's a conference, you said, every year?
Correct. So we do.
I would love to come to that conference. I mean,
absolutely.
I am all for building. I'm all for building. That's what this show is about. It's about building self-esteem, building confidence, getting more into self-care. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of yourself better. And, I'm totally for, building, especially with the young women, and especially with women, period. I think women, not saying that men don't suffer from emotional stress, but I think women suffer a lot from emotional stress because we're emotional, beings. And anywhere where we could build each other up in confidence, learn, you know what I'm saying, from leaders such as yourself. I didn't read all of your bio, but this bio is absolutely amazing. You are out here in many, many, avenues with leadership, and I always say this: one must first serve before they can be a leader.
Say it again. Say it again.
You got to serve.
Learn how to serve. And really, you know what, Fonda? Leadership is about servanthood. A lot of people don't believe that. I'm a woman of faith, and even in my doctoral program, there's a specific reason why I chose to go to Oral Roberts University and go through their doctoral program, because it is faith-based and as well as applied learning. And, it talks about the leadership and, how leadership is really, you have those examples through Jesus and how he showed up as a leader. And I think sometimes we forget that leadership is really about serving. You serve your team, you serve your organization, you serve your peers. And when you come with that mindset, one of the biggest things I always say when someone calls me or they're messaging me, how we have teams or WebEx teams, repeating you left and right. It's always like, how can I serve? How can I serve? What do you need? How can I help? Because that's really what we're here to do. And I take that very seriously, whether I'm helping someone personally or professionally. It's really, how can I help you? Because I remember all the times where somebody stepped in and helped me, because I didn't get here for myself. This is, I will never proclaim to be some self-made person. I got here through lots of help, lots of mentoring, lots of encouragement, lots of support. And I believe in that village. I am a sister's sister. I believe in sisterhood. I believe in being sisterly. And anybody who has worked directly with me knows that. I'm about uplifting, but I'm not about no nonsense. Look, I'll tell you in a minute. Listen, we're not doing that. But I'm about, sisterhood. Right. I believe it. I believe that when you do it and you do it right, everybody grows and everybody wins.
I am going to piggyback off of what you just said again about mentorship. So I do this, and I hope that you are a member of the My Curvy Life group. If you're not, please join. I will make sure of that. But what I am doing is a give them their flowers. Okay, it's a program or it's a challenge
Okay.
where we're going to give those that were mentors to us, those that maybe pushed us as youngsters, or even now, or said something, you can make it. I see you doing this and that,
Mm-hmm.
speaking good vibes into you, speaking good word into you, and I promote that. And so I've been doing a program, and it's called Give Them Their Flowers.
Okay.
And what you do is you go back in your mind and you remember something that someone said to you positive that to this day, may have played a good part in where you are today. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
I love
I
that.
I love it, and it's kind of slow going because people,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it takes people a little while to catch on to it. But I think it's absolutely amazing. I was able to give a few people so far flowers, and I'm going to mention
Okay.
one. She was a mentor to me. It is really simple. It's not like a big long deal, but it was really simple. I grew up in the projects. I was
Mm-hmm.
grew up in a bad part of town, right here in Omaha. Our projects were called Vietnam. You might
Oh
be a
yeah.
little younger
Yep.
than me, but well, I grew up in Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
and I always saw myself doing other things other than hanging out, fighting, doing this, that, and the other. I'm a woman of God has blessed me with many gifts and talents, and I wanted to use those talents, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want to use them in that environment.
Right.
Now, I love where I grew up. I cherish it. That was my hood and all of that. You know what I mean? I don't like look down on it or anything.
Yeah.
But I had a lady, her name was Faye Hobley. She owned McDonald's on 24th and Cummings. And she used to give us opportunities to have a job.
Mm-hmm.
Us young, growing up in the projects, little
Yeah.
kiddies, she would give us the opportunity, and she would let us come and work for her. Well, I had, the real bad attitude, the rolling of the eyes. I mean, my customer service skills like totally sucked. And I remember her one day
You're like
telling
the
me,
queen of customer service now.
exactly, but I'm about to tell you why. I'm about to tell you why I'm the queen of customer service at this point. That lady, Miss Hobley, she
Uh-huh.
spoke into me. She spoke into me, and she said, "Fonda, she was real firm, but also patient with me
Mm-hmm.
because she knew the environment that I was coming up in,
Yeah.
and she took me under her wing. And she told me, she said, Fonda, she said, whatever you do, you're going to need good customer service skills. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to get your attitude together, get your personality. Let's work on that. Let's work on the rolling of the eyes. Let's work on the smart mouth. Let's get, all that got to go out the window." And
Yeah.
she said,
Yeah.
because everything you do, you're gonna have customer service skills.
She's
And when
right.
she told me that, and she started taking me under her wing and just grooming me, and
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you didn't get to where you are by yourself. You had mentors. And so she, with her taking that time for me like that and just nourishing me and helping me, and I owe her, and I say this, I owe her part of my success that I am today. I've been in customer service for well over 35 years. And it's
Yeah.
not, people play customer service real small, but it
Mm-hmm.
really isn't. Girl,
Yeah.
I didn't cry with the customers. I didn't been a psychiatrist. I didn't been a counselor.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of things come out of and serving,
Yep. And serving.
serving, serving. So
Yep.
mentorship is absolutely amazing and important. And I
Yeah.
myself, want to be a mentor, and you are a mentor for this academy, for this for these young girls, for women. And do you know how many women, that need encouragement, that suffer from low self-esteem, and
Yeah.
suffer from low self-worth, and
Yep.
and it's not always easy building, but it can be done. If
Yep.
they see you doing it, looking at you, you're building, you're a leader, you're putting out good vibes, and good things, and
Mm-hmm.
helping, then somebody's going to grab hold to that.
Yeah.
That's what mentorship is.
Yeah.
Somebody grabs hold to your goodness, what you
Mhm.
have to offer, what you're doing, and they see you're and they want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So keep doing, girl, keep doing what you're doing. I'm so
Thank
interested
you.
in this group. And I want to have you, if you would, if you're having something or if you have inspirations or
Mhm.
aspirations that you want to put into this group page, please do that. Because
Okay.
women, we need to be inspired. We need to be, young people need to be encouraged.
Yes, they do.
So I love it. I absolutely love it. Mentorship is absolutely what
It is.
we need more of. I think we
We
kind of got
do.
away from mentorship a little bit because I don't know. I think the new generation or the current generation, a lot of times um I think we've gotten kind of in a sense selfish. As long as my family's okay, as long as I'm doing good, you
Yeah.
know, how do you feel about that?
I think there's a little bit of that. I also um, think that sometimes we get stuck in the, well, nobody really helped me and I struggled through it. I'm all right. And it's like, but are you? Are you? Are you really? I just sometimes like to call a spade a spade. And I think there's a little bit of that. I also think there's a mix of we still have some healing to do ourselves. And this is what I'm finding when I work with mothers and their daughters. And so the mom doesn't really know how to help the daughter. And if we're a bunch of moms in the community, right? So it may not be my own daughter, it could be somebody else's daughter. Well, I don't know how to help her either. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't
Right.
done the work myself to get healed and get beyond and get past. And so I think there's a little bit of that. So I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's a little bit more complex than that. But I agree with you that mentorship is critically important and everybody should have a mentor. And I dare say more than one because you have mentors for different things and
Yes.
different phases and different seasons of your life. And it could be personal, it can be professional, it can be anything in between. But I say don't underestimate the power of having a mentor. And I've had some
Right.
very powerful people. I call them powerful. They're powerful in my eyes who have helped me navigate waters that, especially the first time I stepped in those waters. I have mentors now. And some of them are people I used to report to that I felt like really, really pushed me. And we have stayed in contact for years. And I can go back to them every month, every other month, and we have a regular cadence with each other. I have peer mentors. It doesn't have to be somebody who's always above you. It could be somebody who's, this level that can really give you insight to something that you don't have insight to yet, right? That's the whole purpose of
Yes.
having mentors. And so, yeah, everybody should have a mentor. I encourage every woman, find yourself a mentor. And then when you start to think about, I call it the BIPOC community, I especially talk to women of color, especially in their professional life, you need a mentor. And not only do you need a mentor, you need a sponsor. Who's going to bring your name up behind closed doors? Who's going to highlight the work that you're doing? Who's going to say, oh, do you know what? I know Fonda and this job is opening up and I highly recommend her because of X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So how do we, open up a door for this person? So you need both mentors and sponsors. And I think sometimes we understand the mentor piece of it, but then we forget about the sponsor piece of it. So you need somebody who's going to bring your name up and they can use their network wealth and their professional collateral to open up a door for you.
And I agree with that because we're helpers one to another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Somebody helped you, you help somebody, they help somebody, and then it just keeps building like that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put it in those layman terms right there.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be helpers one to another. This is amazing, and I am very proud of you. I'm always proud of those who create
Thank you.
those entities that's not just looking out for themselves, but also looking out and helping others.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna go back to the spiritual part of it. Having a connection, of course, with God is going to even brighten the road even brighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And prayer.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We got to pray for each other. You know what I'm saying? We got to know that who's the author? God. God is the author and the finisher.
And the finisher.
You know what I'm saying? And so, as long as we know he's the author, he's writing it, and we allow him to write it and tell us what direction, to go with things. He's gonna make it. There's a song that talks about him making it known. Write the vision, make it known. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm very proud of you, and I definitely want to get behind you with this organization. Because yes, I'm a activist for empowering women.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? The conference that we have coming up, this is a special year. So this is year 3 for the conference. And you know how we know about the number 3. Right. And so the theme of the conference this year is Be Bold, Be You, Leading with Purpose. And it's not just leading other people, it's how do you lead yourself? How do you be bold? How do you be yourself in this whole dynamic world that we live in that's calling you to be any and everything, but yourself? Everyone's starting to be carbon copies of each other versus being the unique person that God made you to be. And we're stripping our uniqueness out the picture, which is, I think, is unfortunate. But this conference that we have coming up is really special to me. We're flying in our keynote, who is Sylvia Crawley-Spann, who is a former WNBA player. She's a CEO of her own organization, and she's a former multi-gold Olympian. And we're flying her in from North Carolina to come speak. And then we have an executive leadership panel, which we both know Mikkel Purnell. She's speaking on that. And then we have Jackie Lane from the Children's Museum speaking on that, Leanne Ball from Carson Group, and then Keely Taylor, who has been in HR forever, who has now her own HR consulting company. She's speaking on that exec panel. But the other thing that I'm really excited about, Fonda, is we have a Gen Z leader panel. So you talk about the young kids, you talk about that Gen Z, we talk about those kids who are, getting out of high school, they're in college, they're part of that group, and what they're doing at their ages, some things we couldn't even dream of doing. They're owning companies, and not just owning companies, but highly successful. They're talking to other conferences where there's 700 people, and like they're really out there. And so I want to give exposure to other young girls, to these young women that we're bringing, to let them know that it can be done. It can be done. You just have to be intentional, and you need support, and you need a plan. But it can be done.
Yes.
Even with the world up against it can be done, because you know what? God made us to do wonderful things. God is a creator. So what does that mean? We were meant to be creative, and we have pushed our creativity to the side. And I always remember this quote that I heard Steve Harvey say, which I think he quoted it from somebody else, but he was saying, your imagination is a preview into the future. And we stopped using our imagination, right? Because at one time, cell phones was somebody's imagination. Okay.
Exactly.
Reality now, and it's every day. We can't even think about our lives without a cell phone. So we have to learn how to tap into that imagination. We have to help our young people tap into their imagination, because that creativity is really important to the core of who God created us to be, which are creators.
Wow. Yes. So let me ask you this. Okay, so you mentioned that you're having a conference. When is the conference? How can one be a part of the conference? Is there information, a website, or anything that we can go to? If you could drop a website in on the Curvy Life page, and maybe, how do we go about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the conference this year is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So it's November 23rd. Doors open at 8:15 a.m. We get started promptly at 9. We're going to go till about 2:30 in the afternoon. And we're going to be over at the Steep Center over in La Vista, Nebraska.
Okay.
And so I'll have the address there. If anybody goes to www.phenomenalwomanacademy.org, you'll be able to get to the registration page from there. And then you'll get to see, how to register. General admission is $85. for this year. If you are a high school student, it's $20. If you are a college student, it's $40. But with
Okay.
that, you get, access to the whole conference. We're going to have vendors, we're going to have music, we're going to have food, we have door prizes. And then we also are going to be doing the Phenomenal Woman Awards at the conference.
Oh.
And the list of nominees this year, oh my gosh, Fonda. The planning committee has a job on their hands with narrowing, and this is what they're working on right now. They're trying to narrow down that list to the finalists because the list is bananas this year. So we have the Phenomenal Woman Rising Star, which is for a high school student, and then we have the Inspiration Award and the Game Changer Award. And those three awards combined are community-based awards, which means anybody in the community, when those nominations were open, could have submitted anybody for that, as long as they came in and just wrote out why this person needs to be nominated and they met the criteria. The last award we have is a Phenomenal Woman of the Year award. That's not a community elected award. That award is really put together by the planning committee and the board. And that list we got some women bad to the bone, as they say.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
I'm super excited about it.
You should be. That sounds amazing. See, and this is why I have beautiful, wonderful people like you on the show. So you can introduce us, so we can be introduced to different things that are happening, events around in the city. I think the city lacks communication. A lot of times, people have things going on and we don't even know about it because I knew nothing about this. So thank you for sharing that information with us. I wanted to also say this, CJ, being an inspiration, you know what I'm saying? Being an inspiration is so important, to inspire people. We want to inspire others. Yeah. And sometimes, I have to take down from my own personal things that I may be going through because somebody out there is depending on me to be an inspiration for them. You know what I mean? And that takes the strength of God, to help you interpersonally, because everybody got things, situations that arise and, different things of that nature. But I'm very proud. I'm going to connect you with, I don't know if you're familiar with her. Her name is Tiffany Gamble.
Yes, I know Tiffany.
Okay, well then you already know her. But she has
amazing self. Yes, I know Miss Gamble.
She has the Emerging Ladies Academy.
Yep.
And so I think that you guys, a collaboration will be absolutely wonderful. Because she works with young ladies and she's teaching them tech. Technology, she has a tech firm as well. She's also taking her business and her organization into Africa.
Yeah, so she has Ghana, wasn't she?
Yes. We're very dear friends, but I'm very, very proud of Tiffany. I remember when she brought that vision to me when she started it, and I sat and I listened to it and I said, I think you got something, girl. I think you got something. Yes. And she has taken it. So I think you guys will be wonderful at collaborating with, within this entity. Within your
entity. What? She and I talked about that. We just haven't had an opportunity to sync up and figure out what we can do. But she does, what? She has such a giving heart and she really does care. And she really is trying to expose these young girls to the world of technology. And being that I come from that world and I live in that world for so long, it is an amazing field to be in. So she's doing some amazing work. She really is.
She really is. And, I'm just proud of anyone who takes their vision and moves forward. I believe timing, everything is in God's timing. Yep. Who knew that, at this point in my life, I'm getting ready to retire here shortly, therefore, and I'm like, I'll wait until I get in my 50s and I can finally speak out. Yeah. I'm a singer, so I've been singing all my life and I'm comfortable in that area, but speaking and I was just saying the other day, I did a lot of procrastinating. I did a lot of them, they. What are they going to think? What are those, them, the? And I had to get them, they out of my mind and start thinking about me and my vision and what, God had for me. And now that I've opened up to that, you know what I'm saying? And then talking to people such as yourself and, just hearing their vision and seeing what they're doing. It's like, this is amazing to me. You know what I mean? It's really amazing to me. And I really appreciate it. And I love seeing, and I'm just going to put it out there and say it just like this. I love seeing our people lead, being leaders. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Martin Luther King III the other day, and it was crazy.
I saw that. I saw something. Okay.
That was crazy because I went to that luncheon. And I did take a picture with him at that luncheon, but you know, they were kind of rushing us and everything. You know how they do, like, well, he got to get in there. So I was like, look, we better take this selfie. So
I know you were like, no, we're gonna get this picture.
Right, we're taking this. Hold on. So we took a selfie, and I know you know who Maurice is, but me and Maurice was talking because he's been on the show. He was on the beginning show when I first started this podcast, and he goes, "Find it. What will be so neat is if you know you will be able to get him on the show." And I'm like, you know, that would be really neat. I said, you know, and we left it at that. 2 hours later, I happened to go to Time Out Chicken, girl. I said, and I wasn't gonna go. But someone was like, girl, go and get you, you know, a couple pieces of chicken going in there. And it was so packed. But, you know, it's always packed in Time Out. So I went ahead and I went in there. And as soon as I opened the door, guess who was standing right there?
No, it wasn't.
Martin Luther King Jr. the third, girl. He was in there waiting on his chicken. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so I still wasn't really putting it together that I could get him to say something for me, but I said, hey, I'm gonna try. So I went over and I just started talking to him. I started telling him what I had going on. And I said, would you please greet my audience? I said, it would be an honor if you would greet my audience. And girl, I whipped my little cell phone out and we did that thing right then and there.
I love it. I love it.
And I've been on cloud nine ever since because, you know, that's history. He's history. You know what I mean? And the fact that his mother, you know, instilled in her sons to carry on the dad's mantle, you know, carry on their father's mantle and to be, you know, into civil rights and different things of that nature. So that was amazing. I will cherish that moment forever.
That is crazy. That you ran into him just a couple of hours later.
And you know, so speaking things into existence, I believe that it took me years to get to that point. But you know, if you want something, you got to speak that thing into existence, and you got to believe and have faith that God can do it. You know, God blessed me in that He gave me that miracle. I didn't even see it coming. You know what I mean? But being in the right place at the right time can make all the difference. And who orchestrates that? God. So I say that to say this, ma'am. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and for sharing with us. I always ask my guests, especially those that are really making some moves and achieving things in life, if someone wanted to do what you're doing as far as starting an organization and, you know, building, what would be something that good advice that you could tell them to do to get started?
The first thing I would say is, you know, create your vision. You know, it goes back to what you said. You got to have a vision. What is your vision? What are you expecting to do and why? And, you know, sounds cliche. What is your why? Because it's going to get hard. It's going to get tough. And if your why is not strong enough, when those times come, you are going to throw in a towel. So why are you doing this? You have to understand that it's bigger than you. And you have to understand there are people connected to you that you can't yet even see. And if you're not in position, they can't be in position. So you have to understand that this world is a web of connections. And, you know, God doesn't do one thing at once. It's a web of connection. He is the master artist here, right? So I would say have a vision, understand your why, and then get people around you to hold you accountable to your dream. Piece of advice, because you need people that are going to hold you true to what you said, you know, especially if you said this is a mandate from God and God told me to do it. You need people who are going to hold you accountable to what you said God told you to do and who are not going to allow you to give up. So that circle has to be tight.
Wow, I love it. Yes. Thank
That was
you
my
so
first
much.
piece of
Now
advice.
that was some good wisdom right there. I'm gonna take that for myself. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I'm gonna take
absolutely.
that for myself. Well, I'm going to be looking forward to the future and what you have going on. I'm going to plan to be at your conference. I think that would be amazing. And as long as you allow me to do a little bit of, networking.
Absolutely, Miss Fonda. Come on through with it. You gonna be part of the
Well,
media.
you got me
You
let
gonna
me
be
do a
part
little
of
bit
the
of
media.
networking. Because
I would love to have you come in.
I
Yes. So
I
yeah, absolutely.
appreciate you so much, and I thank you so much. I do ask one favor: if
Absolutely.
you could just share my entity, share my group,
I
um,
sure will.
with your friends and family. I
Hmm.
would appreciate it. Like, this is a positive environment. I'm always looking for special guests to come on the show. Now, there's different segments. I have the entrepreneurship, also development of programs. Also, I do a life's journey. If you went through an experience in your life, a sickness, you're a survivor. You may have had cancer or stroke and you survived, and you want to share that information and help someone else that might be going through that same similar thing. You know what I mean? You are more than welcome to come on this show. I do cooking as well. If you know someone who likes to throw down in their kitchen, you know what I'm saying?
Listen,
I
you got
like
to get a
to.
whole list, a whole booklet full of people.
Girl, yes. I love it. And people love to see food. They love to see
Yeah.
people cooking and different things of that nature. So, I'm very excited about what I do. I do this because it's a love and passion that I've always wanted to do. Bring people together, uplift, encourage, you know, just what you doing, girl. What same thing you doing, but just probably not in a leadership way. But I just like to see
You
people
don't
come
do
together
what
and,
you
and
do
do
as
this.
long as you've been doing it and not be a leader. There's no way.
I do feel like I've earned my stripes, as they say.
Yes, ma'am.
I've
Yes,
earned my
ma'am.
stripes, and I'm at the end as far as retiring, but I'm not at the end as far as my career because
Mhm.
I'm building. I also, if you could share with your entity, I do homeless feeds. I actually
Yes,
got
I
one
do know
going
that.
on here. I'm not sure if you've heard about that, but I do homeless feeds, and I just try to look out for those that are less fortunate.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't do everything, but we can do something.
correct.
Okay,
Okay.
so thank you so much.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate everything. Feel free, please join the group page if you haven't joined. Please join, and please put some inspiration in there for us because I know you got
Will
some.
do.
I know
Will
you
do.
got some.
Will do.
I know
Yes,
you got
ma'am.
some.
Thank you for having me,
I
Fonda.
can
This has
feel
been
it.
a pleasure. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you so much, and thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the future, what you got going on. I'm very proud of you.
Oh,
I'm
thank
always
you.
proud of those that are trying to do something to strengthen and help the community. So thank you for all you do. Well, my Curvy Life, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you so much, all my supporters, and let's send Miss Chequetta off with a nice round of applause. Thank you, Miss CJ. Until we meet again, baby cakes.
All
God
right.
bless.